My name is Jeff Morgan. I'm from Dallas, Texas, and I'm going to once again hit another issue with this Gordon Rose. Now, Gordon Rose, again, I don't know anything about him, but if you want to take a look at him, this is his profile. He is on Facebook. He is, I don't know, he's the editor in chief at Clip Artist Films. I took a look at this Clip Artist Films, and if you get off of this one page, it looks like he's done some good stuff. But this thing here, his Dad Talk Today investigation. It looks like he's trying to be an investigative reporter, and he has really miserably failed. But anyway, it is what it is right now. Anyway, I'm not even sure this is worth responding to. That's how shoddy the investigation is. But regardless, I'm going to do it. It's going to be my last video on the topic as far as I know. I just think the whole thing is it's just a nutty sort of thing. Anyway, so to go to his video, and the video that we have right here, he actually has this on YouTube as well. This is his morning update, the Dad Talk Today investigation. Investigative journalist Gordon Rose is going to update us on what he has been finding about Dad Talk Today. So I'm going to play segments of the clips and I'm going to stop. I'm going to give my own commentary. I've got my own visuals that I can use to show that a lot of the stuff that he's saying is just not accurate. And I hope that Gordon actually, when he talks with his expert consultants and stuff like that, that maybe he gets some people that actually know what they're talking about. Anyway, here we go.
All right, I guess we'll just get into it. And Eric Carroll, I'm just going to address you directly, sir. Please look in the camera. Look at me.
Eric doesn't even know you're talking to him, Gordon.
So, when I saw your video go viral in the last 2 weeks, I started doing research on what the characteristics are of viral videos on YouTube and on the internet in general. The initial red flags, Eric, as I've stated in previous videos in the last week, is that your hubris and ego is so out of control.
So the first thing I want to say is to Mr. Gordon here. How does a person's hubris and ego, how is that any indication of a red flag on a video? Anyway, that is an opinion statement of his. I'm sorry he made that, but he has no credibility, has no relation whatsoever to the idea about a viral video, but we'll let him continue on.
You self-admit your intentions in a lot of your posts. And everybody, I'm doing this, by the way, everybody, I'm doing this from my memory. I don't have my notes in front of me, but sometime soon I'll do a full podcast with documentation and all that type of stuff to back all this up. But I felt it was really important today to at least get this first video out.
So I don't really know what's important about this thing, what he's doing. I mean, Eric, just as I mentioned in this last video, Eric was trying to put out a video to bring recognition to the phenomenon of parental alienation. And he did that by spending a lot of time working on a documentary called I Stand With John. It was something he talked about. He put everything else on hold. He was putting in 10, 12, 14-hour days for days on end. Probably, I mean, I don't know how many weeks, but I know he did spend weeks doing that. He was basically out of touch with everybody. He disconnected from his family a lot of the time. He spent hours and hours and hours working on this documentary.
So Eric, I contacted a subject matter expert.
Okay, we're going to get ready for the anonymous subject matter expert that Gordon Rose has contacted. Who is the subject matter expert?
A few days ago. The subject matter expert, this person is one of the country's leading experts on social media deployment.
And here he is, Mr. E.T. himself.
Hashtag deployment.
Hashtag deployment.
Just lots of stuff. This person is actually so sought after as a social media expert. They are in a position right now of running social media for one of the most impactful shows right now in the country in the political space. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay, he's just going to leave it at that. He's going to cite an anonymous subject matter expert, and then he's going to leave it at that. Trust him as he is walking and talking about this thing. Just trust him, leave it at that.
So what I found out first was, how does somebody get 2 to 4 times more views than Joe Rogan clips, than Timcast full shows, all your leading political commentary shows? If you also go look in the vertical market of parental rights, father's rights, family rights, it's just bottlenecked with so many YouTube channels and social media pages that are very low performing. Okay.
So the argument that he's making here right now is completely irrelevant. The fact that there are many channels out there that don't get many views, everybody knows that. It's completely irrelevant to what he's doing, and that's why one of the things that I'm glad for is that Eric has actually had people that have come by that he's gotten a lot of views, and that by using his YouTube channel, by the people he's interviewed and everything else, he's been able to get a number of views on many videos. And I know that Eric has spent a lot of time doing this. I've been to events with him. It's not been easy. There's been a lot of sacrifice involved and time away from the family. So I think rather than criticizing him, perhaps Mr. Gordon Rose should start to say thank you for spending the time and doing this.
So first things first, let's get a first stat out of the way. These million views, everyone, are 4 times lower in likes than what a normal YouTube video gets, likes versus views. Also, when a video goes viral, as perceived on the Dad Talk YouTube channel, oftentimes that ratio is increased because due to the fact it's going viral.
So actually, he may say that, but the reality is it just does not align with the facts. And I'm going to use a video that I put out that got the most amount of views that I've ever had with any video. It had 342,000 views. I guess here it says 340,000, but I think it's about 342,000 in actuality. And I put this video out, I think it was May 10th, 2020. There were about 12 other videos at the same time. Now, most of those videos got maybe, under 100 hits. Some of them got a couple hundred. I think one got close to 500. But for some reason, one of these videos, and it had to do with the idea of hydroxychloroquine and also COVID, just got a ton of views. Now, as I said right here, it's 340,000 views. I had no idea this was going to happen. I just threw the video up there. I figured, like everything else, it's going to get a few views, and that's it. The first week from May the 10th until May the 16th, 257,000 views. The percent of the total views in the first week was 75, almost 76%. Almost 76% of all the views that I got were in the first week. There were 4,475 likes, total of 5,504 likes. But in the first week, there was 81.3% of the likes were achieved in the first week. This is just 6 days right here. The duration, that would be the average viewing time, was 5 minutes and 24 seconds. I believe the video was about 13 minutes and 18 seconds. So the duration is, the average time that most people watch. Now, again, if you look at the mean, it may be that somebody just clicked and looked at it for 10, 15 seconds, 30 seconds and said, I'm done with it. And maybe other people watched the entire thing. The mean in itself, it doesn't tell us a lot of information. It gives us some information, but there's a lot that it does not really convey. However, the total hours that were viewed, 23,217.9 hours of this video were viewed in the first week. That's a lot of viewing hours for any video. And that was out of all the total viewing hours, which is 29,516.9. 78.66% of those hours were in the first week from May 10th until May the 16th. During that time as well, I gained 624 subscribers out of a total of 823 that eventually subscribed based on this one video. 75.82% of the subscribers came in 1 week. And I'm emphasizing this for one reason. Because when a video goes viral, number one, it doesn't just have the average that you you say that, every day it had 50,000. It doesn't work that way, generally speaking. And as you can see right here, for the first week, it had 257,000 views. The second week, it went down to 45,000 views. It's still a good amount of views, still a good number of views, by far more than I get on almost every single video. There may have been a couple that have had that many, but I'm not a big player in this field here. But 45,813 views, 13.5% of the views, another 586 likes. The duration actually decreased. The duration time, the viewing time, actually decreased during week 2. The number of hours considerably decreased, but still 3,686 hours, another 12.49%. Gained 102 subscribers based on that one video. And if you look at week number 3, you see things start to precipitously decline. And that's what you actually see right here. As you look at this graph, the views per week. So the first week, it's about 257,000 views, but that's right down here, 257,321. Week number 2, if you look at that data point, it is 45,813. Week number 3, it's gone down to 8,390. So this is the curve that you'll see with views per week. And this is going to play into what Gordon is going to be saying in just a moment. I'll get back to that in just a moment. Again, the same thing with the likes. Look at the likes. The likes were 4,500 the first week, almost 4,500. And then again, they declined very quickly in week number 2, and then they leveled off and went down to basically nothing. You can look at weeks number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, all the way down to week number 19. In those 15 weeks that followed, the 16 weeks that followed the first 3 weeks, there were only a total of 72 likes. That's all it came down to. You could actually put in week number 3 as well, and that still only makes it a total of 97 likes. So from weeks 3 through 19, I had as many likes on this one video at even fewer likes than what I had in week number 2. And you'll find that it's consistent. And again, I'll get back to this in just a moment. But I looked at what took place here, weeks number 1 and 2, 89.1% of the views took place in that. If you included week number 3, it's almost 92%. Same thing with likes, 92% in weeks 1 and 2. You add week 3 in there, 94%. You look at the hours, 91% of the hours that were viewed were in weeks numbers 1 and 2. Week number 3, add that into it, 93%. If you look at new subscribers, again, it's 88% in weeks number 1 and 2. You add week number 3 into it, and now we're down to 91%. But I want to take a look at something else as well, because what Gordon was just saying is that when these videos go viral, that they get more likes, they get a 4x, or they get so much more than normal. Now, here's what I did. These are videos. These are all videos from Dad Talk Today that are on his page right now. And as you can see here, you look at the likes, or you look at the views, about 1,260, and I've got them here. In fact, what I can do is let me just go ahead and sort them real quickly here. We'll go smallest to largest. So you see that when you look at these, you'll notice, and it's not 100% correlation, but the lower the views, as far as under 1,000 and stuff like that, you start to you get a lot of percentage of people liking them. 6%, 15%, 18%, 9%, 10%. Some of the videos don't get as many views as the percentage. Here's one that only got 2.7% out of 1,835 views. But what you'll find is this: generally speaking, there is a correlation between the number of views you have and the percentage of people that respond with a like. Why is that? Because YouTube counts every single, well, I don't know if they count every single view, but when you start to watch a video, there are a lot of people that might only watch 10, 15 seconds and go away. That counts as a view. That is the way that YouTube works. And you may not get a like out of that. In fact, you're going to find, again, that as the numbers increase, that the likes will decrease. Now, this is my video right here that I had, the 342,975. I ended up with only 1.6% of those views, people liking it. And there were a number of others that disliked it as well. But if you look at a view like Eric's video with 1.1 million, and you've got maybe 11,500 approximately, it's 1% of the views actually got a like. And that's again because there's a lot of people that they watch the first few seconds, and rather than just watching the entire thing, um, they're going to click away and they're not going to like it. And that's part of just the nature of the video. If you don't watch the video for the first 5 or 10 minutes or something like that, it might move slow. But if you watch the entire thing, you're probably going to be captivated and engrossed in it. YouTube analytics, they just help people as far as what they're doing with their videos and how they are attracting people. Now, Gordon said something about Eric was experimenting with different openings and stuff like that, and as he changed different openings, he had a different number of views. Well, you should do that. It's basically called marketing. It's called finding out what works. And I don't fault Eric in the least for it. Eric had been studying the YouTube algorithms and everything else, and he was trying a couple of different things to see, can I gain more traction by doing this? And actually something that he did I learned from. So I try to do it with some of mine. I don't know if it's worked or not, but I have done it. And so what he was saying about Eric actually putting out, changing all of these different views, these different openings around to increase his viewership, so what? In fact, I've talked with several people and they've said, I don't care if Eric bought the views. He has views out there. That's not what Eric did, by the way. What he did, he had an advertising budget. I don't deal with advertising. I put up videos. If people see them, they see them. If they don't see them, they don't see them. Because of how much time was spent in the John Mast story and how much he wanted this video to be out there to tell John's story and also to tell the story of what happens with many alienated people, he spent some time actually advertising for that. And for Gordon to criticize him for that is really out of bounds.
A true viral video is going to often have a 5 or 6x of the normal trend or average.
Well, and as I just said, that's not true. My viral video, the one that I've had that has been the most viral ever that I've ever had, it does not have a 5 or 4 or 5 or whatever X viewer. It has actually a decreased number because once again, people look at that, they don't watch the entire thing. In almost every single instance, what you'll find here is that the lower the number of views that you have, the higher percentage of likes that you'll have by and large. As you start getting larger and larger numbers, as a rule, as a trend, the likes will decrease. So he just doesn't really know what he's talking about right here. It sounds rational, but Gordon just does not know what he's talking about in this instance.
Okay.
And as a person, by the way, who claims to be a data analytics person, he should know that. Either he is ignorant about this or he's being dishonest. I don't know which one. I've never met Gordon. I hope that he succeeds in everything that he does. But in what he's doing right here, he's just slandering a person on no facts. And we will see that coming up.
So if everybody can go look right now, there's 1 million, and I think as of this morning, 80,000 some odd views, and there's 11,000 likes. That's about 1%.
You got that right.
Hair over 1%. Industry average is 4%, and again, viral videos oftentimes perform higher than that.
And again, based on the data, and as a data analytics person, he should know this. You don't base your theory off of what you want it to say, you base it off of data. And this is data from Dad Talk Today. I went through some of the videos, not all of them, I went through a number of them, and I put down, here's what you have as far as likes, here's what you have as far as views. This is the percentage out of 933 views, 62 likes, you had a 6.6 percentage. So basically, if you look at what's going on here, your range goes somewhere, generally speaking, from about 6% up to maybe 17, 18%, something like that. Everything in here is within that range, more or less. There are a couple of outliers, but once you start getting above the 5,000 mark, generally speaking, things change. Not completely. I mean, as you can see here, a couple of these videos had the 8.7, the 7.1, But as your numbers of viewers increase, the number of views increase, you'll see if with almost 8,000 views, the percentage of likes went down. 9,500, the percentage of likes went down. 13,000 views, the percentage of likes went down. 18,000 views, the percentage of likes is still underneath the average up above. The only difference here is this was one with Ted Nugent, the 40,000 views. He got almost 6% likes. It's still fewer, it's still less as a percentage than anything that was under 5,000 views, basically, generally speaking. But it was because of Ted Nugent that he got extra types of likes. That's what I think happened. I don't know, but that's what I think happened. But once you start hitting the hundreds of thousands of views, you'll see that the likes as a percentage of total views drops off considerably. If these were going to be a 4x, he would have 25 or 30% likes down here. It doesn't work that way. The data speaks for itself. Unfortunately, Gordon Rose has an agenda to push. He's just not dealing with data.
Then what I did is I got this subject matter expert, did some research for me, gave me some information, and then I went back and took that information to dig deeper, gave me a really good reference point to kind of where to look. So then I discovered some tools, and I was able, Eric, to audit your page. Some red flags, definitely some red flags came up there.
So I don't know what he's talking about red flags. I'm not sure how he's auditing his page. He can audit. He can look at the videos that Eric has out there. He can do what I did. He can look at the numbers of views and the likes and do that if he wants to. But if he really wants to get behind the scene and see the reports, he has to have access to the analytics that are with the video that are provided with YouTube. He does not have access to those. So he's basically conjecturing, he's theorizing, he's using, maybe he has a very active figment of his imagination, but he's just not dealing with data.
Your percentages of likes versus views in other videos vary wildly, but there's some interesting trends.
So again, going back, this is from Eric's page, and you could say yes, they vary wildly. If you look at the anything under 5,000, the minimum is 2.7%, which is right here, and then the maximum is 18.6%. So yes, you can say that, but let's get rid of this 18.6%. Just get rid of that, and also get rid of this 2.7, because those we can say are the outliers. And then you're going to find that the minimum is about 6.6, the maximum is about 17.6. So yes, there's a 10, 11 percentage point variation there, or range, but that's really not that big of a deal.
Every time you changed openings or bumpers, the trends changed.
Again, that's called marketing and experimentation. That's what you try to do. You want to put something out there that people will watch.
So Eric, now I'm going to engage in a little conjecture. So I stated facts. I'm going to do.
Okay, so now he stated some facts, supposedly, but now here comes the overactive imagination. Here comes the conjecture. This is the data analyst at heart. Gordon Rose is going to start conjecturing about data. Let's hear him out.
A little conjecture, and then I'm going to go back to facts. I think it's possible and probable.
Wait a minute. He thinks it's possible and probable. He's beginning to sound a little bit like Charles Darwin. Maybe this happened. We could theorize that. I think possibly this, maybe that. It is probable that it might have happened. I mean, this is nonsense. When you deal with data, you deal with data, not with conjecture. He's just making stuff up as he goes.
That you did a test run buying views as a service earlier.
So this is a nice conjecture, buying views as a service. I didn't even know such a thing existed out there, but I guess if Gordon says it exists out there, it must exist out there, and this is part of his conjecture that Eric has purchased views. I don't know. I think you can target areas, but as far as buying views, I don't know. Anyway, but let's continue with Mr. Rose.
With some of your other videos, just to get a feel for how it works and what's going on.
And again, you'd want to do that. You want to know, get a feel for how it works and what's going on. Because once you know how it works, you might be able to maximize your reach. There is nothing wrong with that. This is not a conspiracy theory, Gordon Rose.
These trends of like versus view percentages and ratios change when you change your opening. I believe there are three times this has happened on your page since you've put it up. Okay. And that's kind of meaningless to the...
Well, if it's meaningless, why are you even talking about it? Oh, wait a minute. No, it's meaningless to the other overwhelming evidence / conjecture that Gordon is going to show us right now.
big evidence I have, but...
Here it comes, the big evidence. Got to be another subject matter expert.
It still shows a substrate. It shows a pattern. Okay. So then, after using some of these tools, I found another expert.
There he is, another expert. And who was this expert? There he is. So he's now got two experts, but he's going to continue on here.
It actually did a case study and went and purchased views and did a really concise dissection of an anatomy, if you will, a post-mortem of what the characteristics are of purchased views. One of them...
Now he's making the assertion or the allegation that Eric has purchased all of these views. That is the basis of his investigative report. He's made up this thing that Eric has purchased views.
Is time durations. The other one is where the views are coming from.
Okay, I'll address this in just a moment. But time durations, as the video goes viral and as it starts to peter out, time durations actually decrease. That's just the way it is, because people are interested in it at one point in time. They may want to see what it's about when they see other views, how many views it's had. But once it's lived its life, by and large, it has lived its life. Now, as far as the countries of origin, we'll get to that in just a moment.
So, Eric, first of all, if you want to dispute any of what I'm saying...
Wait a minute. You're making an allegation, a baseless allegation, Mr. Rose. Why would he want to dispute anything? You're just making stuff up, and now you're trying to say what your baseless allegations are fact and that he needs to dispute it. What you need to do is prove your evidence. I mean, you're beginning to sound like you're a family court judge or an anti-family court lawyer or something like that. This is crazy.
In this investigative journalism report, it's really easy.
Investigative journalism. This is pure conjecture on Gordon Rose's part.
All you have to do is go into your YouTube studio and pull some reports for everybody to look at.
Now, wait a minute, Gordon. I thought you had audited his page. I mean, why don't you give us the reports that you've looked at? Why don't you present your proof, your evidence?
We would like to all see, I'm sure.
Well, you're not sure, because most of us really could care less. This is something that you would like to see. Most people could care less about this. Most people think that this is just you being jealous, or you just being a royal pain in the side, or trying to make a name for yourself. And I don't know what your motivation is behind this stuff, but this is not investigative journalism. Maybe you're upset because Eric did not cover cash the way you wanted him to, but this whole thing here is just trash and nonsense at this point.
The average durations of your views, and then also the origins of the views.
So I'm going to go to my YouTube studio here. I don't normally do this stuff, but I'm going to regardless because Mr. Rose, obviously with his investigative journalism, he wants to see something. So take a look behind one of the, like I said, the one video that I had, they got a lot of views. So if you look here, my views primarily come from the United States, Canada, United Kingdom. And I can tell you one thing. I have spent no money ever advertising these things. My channel is not monetized. We can go back and see that. There's no monetization to my YouTube channel. How these things spread, I don't know. But out of the 342,000 views, we have, over 310 in the United States, another 8,000 in Canada, United Kingdom. But if you go down further, there's Australia, South Africa, Netherlands, Israel, Philippines, Mexico is viewing my video, New Zealand, Germany, Belgium, Sweden, India, Ireland, Norway, Spain, Costa Rica, Singapore, Jamaica, Brazil. I'm not spending any money, Gordon, on Brazil. France, Italy, United Arab Emirates, Thailand, Switzerland, Denmark, Kenya. Look at it's even making its rounds in Kenya. At least 59 views over there. And the watch time, watch hours, 4.9 hours. I mean, they've got to be watching the whole thing, evidently. I don't know. Oh, the average duration, 5 minutes. Out of a 13 minutes and maybe 38 seconds video, they're watching 5 minutes on average. You go to Malaysia, Kenya, Greece, Poland. I mean, all of these different places. It's just the way that, even that, Malta, Sri Lanka, Indonesia, the Ukraine. This is what happened with a video of mine that went viral. I've had a few that have gone viral, but this is the most that has ever gone viral. And again, going back to the, let's go back here to this sheet that I had. If I look at the viral video, and if I take, again, I'm going to just hide something right here. And just looking at the duration, for example, week number 1, the duration was 524. Then it started to go down week 2, week 3. By the end of week 17, it was down to 3 minutes and 20 seconds, 2 minutes less viewing time. Now it popped up a little bit at the end of in September. It went from 320 up to 340, the average. So evidently, some people, some places were watching it, but the duration time does not remain constant either. And if you look at, again, if you look at the views per week, you'll see that there is a peak on week number 1. It dips in week 2, week 3. It's almost down at the very bottom. Not quite. Week 4, I mean, they still have, there's a slow taper here. You look at the hours per week, the same thing. There is, once you get to week number 4, 5, whatever, it starts to taper off. That's likes per week. And then right here, the hours per week. But all of them are that way. You look at the duration. Again, you look at from May the 10th until somewhere in maybe the end of May, you have a lot of views here and then it peaks down quickly. This is a characteristic of a viral video. There's no such thing as, in 3 weeks we had an average of 50,000 views a day or 10,000 views a day. It doesn't work that way. And as a data specialist, as he claims to be, and I have no reason to doubt him, if that's what he says he is, I'll take him at his word. He should know better than that.
I already have data and research on the countries of origin where purchase views come from.
Well, I'm just wondering who did I spend money over in Cyprus and Czechia, Czechoslovakia, and Uganda. I mean, did I spend money over there? The majority of my views, once again, come from Western countries. They come from the US, Canada, UK, Australia, South Africa. Well, actually, almost all of these come from the United States and Canada. You throw the UK in and the Australia, these are just minor in comparison. So I didn't spend any money buying views in the United States. I didn't spend any money buying views anywhere, in fact, as Gordon might think if I had a video out that got one all the way up to 1 million views.
So I already have that list, and I can do, and again, I'll segue a little bit. For people that don't know, my professional background is...
Here it comes. Now he's in a segue. I'd like to see him segue and actually give us some real report some data to work with rather than his conjecture. But here comes a segue for those people who don't know his professional background.
Spent most of my career as a data expert, data compiler.
So he's a data expert and a data compiler. And I have no reason to doubt what he's saying. But he's either intentionally deceiving, or he's being dishonest, or he's just ignorant about the way a viral video works.
And I built lead generation platforms for some of the largest bank card processors in the country. So this is right in my wheelhouse, this kind of analytics and studying.
His analytics and studying may be in his wheelhouse, but once again, when you deal with a viral video, things change, and he needs to know that. And he's either intentionally ignoring that fact, or he's just not paying attention to it, and he's ignorant of it.
I'm usually pretty good at breaking this stuff down once I have my baselines.
Okay, what are your baselines? Do you have your baselines? Where are your baselines? If you don't have a baseline, you have nothing to work with.
And so anyway, so just so everybody understands my professional background too. So anyways, Eric, we could pull those reports, and if you want to, like, I guess what I'm saying, Eric, is if you want to dispute what I'm saying,
there's no reason for Eric to dispute anything. The burden of proof is upon you, who is making the allegation.
you can do it like that. Boom! You just pull the reports, you publish them. I'll happily take those public reports.
So what he's now admitting, after he said that he's done an audit, and I don't know what kind of an audit he's done, because it obviously wasn't very thorough, if he now needs the reports pulled by Eric for him so that he can do whatever he's going to do, he's speaking nonsense at this point.
I'll do an analysis, and I'll share my findings with the public on a spreadsheet.
Okay, I've done my analysis, and my analysis is not thorough or in depth at all. I'm just saying this is what I've seen. I have my own spreadsheet here, as you know. I have talked about looking at my video that went viral. I have this in front of me from the analytics. I have these videos, and this is probably the same thing that you've done if you wanted to. I've gone through different videos that he's put out there, and I didn't go through all of them, but I put the views and I put the likes. And by the way, there were a lot of videos that Eric had on his website that did not have a lot of views, so he took them down. Why did he take them down? That was also part of the marketing ploy that he used, because he speaks with people at different conventions. He's gone to CPAC, he's gone to Turning Point, he's gone to many places, and we've had people, because I've been there when this has happened, and David Webb that came up and said, I've looked at your website. There are other people that look at the website. You don't want to have a website that's going to have 45 views on a lot of videos. If you're trying to speak with a politician, they want to know that they're going to actually possibly have some impact. So that was just a marketing thing. I don't think it's dishonest in the least. If you have a bad product, you pull it. If you have a product that nobody wants, you pull it. And you focus on what you do well.
And if you can show how you legitimately, with this video, outperformed Joe Rogan Clips, Timcast, and other high performers over the last 2 weeks by a 2 to 4x, because that's what the performance is, by showing country of origins and view durations, you can put this to bed real quickly.
So this, again, is complete nonsense. His nonsense goes on and on and on. It drags on. He gets involved in more speculation. He reinterprets the Bible according to the way that he wants to see it. Whatever he does. This is just craziness. There is no reason for Eric to have to do this. I told him to just not even to ignore this guy. Now, I will respond to it because I think it's so absolutely insane and ridiculous that this foolishness needs to be put to rest, because he's leading some people astray. Gordon Rose, I wish you all the best. It looks like you're a good friend of Cash. I've taken a look at your site a little bit. It looks like you've got some really great things out there. But when you're just trying to cut somebody else down because they did not do what you wanted them to do, because you're upset with them, you really discredit yourself. We need to have people coming together. Cash is a great guy. James Kelly's a great guy. The people that were there with him, I mean, they all pulled together. There was no need for Eric to be there. He's got a different target range right now. He's got a different target audience, and you know what? We need everybody involved in this. Gordon, I wish you the best in what you're doing, but please do not slander. Please do not engage in speculation, baseless speculation. And there's absolutely no reason whatsoever for Eric to even respond to you. I honestly would be disappointed if he did. Um, but anyway, that's it for right now. Like I said, I just wanted to put some of this thing to rest. With regard to the documentary I Stand With John, I am grateful that Eric and Robert Garza and the other people that were involved spent so much time with the movie. And I know the Mast family is grateful. I've talked with them just a little bit, and I wish this all the best, and I wish that somebody like Gordon Rose would actually think before he does some of these things. He's really brought discredit to himself. He's bringing discredit. We don't need division within the movement. We need people to come together. Gordon, it looks like you do a lot of good things, but put this one to rest. And to be honest with you, I actually think that you owe the community and Eric Carroll an apology. That's my opinion. I will stand behind that. But because what you've done is engaged in baseless speculation, baseless conjecture, baseless slander, and it was really unworthy of who you claim to be, who you want to be. And that's it for right now. So thank you very much.